Okay.
They would take care.
Well, I'd like to call this workshop to order on August 4th, 2020 at 5:06 p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Belmonto.
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Here.
Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember at-large Vandenboer.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I feel like I'm on Channel 7 with those little kids that do that. Or is it Channel 4 in the morning? The classroom.
Just a couple announcements real quick before we start this workshop. I'd like to welcome Raymond Roses. He's our first time tonight starting with the city council meeting. Welcome to the city of Dunkirk and City Hall.
Thank you.
We don't bite.
See, all the worst things here, right? And the other thing is that Rebecca is excused from the meeting tonight. She had a health emergency, but she said she's doing fine. So just let everybody know, okay? All right, we'll skip over the certification of private minutes, reading the privilege of the floor. We'll go right to communication of the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor's not here tonight, okay? And we'll go to communication of the public and petitions.
Number one, loudspeaker application request from Black in Action to use music and speakers to relay valuable community information at the event to be held for youth and families at Washington Park on August 15, 2020 from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, was this the one that they wanted all the trimmings and?
Chairs and everything.
Yeah.
And the coolers.
We worked that out.
Okay.
I'll start with that, Richard, thank you. I need a motion to, my usual, refer that to
I make
motion.
it. Nichols.
By Nichols, second by Williams.
Number two, loudspeaker application request from Jessica Hernandez Ramos to use amps and speakers for the baby shower at the Point Grass at Lower Pavilion on July 20th, 2020 from 4 to 8 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Same, need a motion to refer to my usual. By Williams, by Stoyl.
Number three, loudspeaker application request from Suzette Bautista to use speakers for a birthday party at the Hose 4 Pavilion on August 9, 2020 from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Chief, I do have one thing. Some of the people were saying that it gets pretty loud when they have the amps and the speakers and stuff down the point. I mean, it's just, I know they're having a party and is there something that we can do or kind of enforce it being really loud so the whole park doesn't have to listen to their music?
If it gets really loud, people are welcome to call the desk and we'll have the officers respond and tell them to turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, because I know there was a couple times people were walking around, they said it was just ridiculous loud.
If it gets to that point, just tell them to call the desk and I'll put a note out to the guys too that if they hear it, you know, if it's really, really loud, to ask them to turn it down.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. I need as usual.
So move.
By Williams, second by
Nichols.
Nichols. Okay, reports to standing committees, boards and commissions. Councilman Williams,
Nothing for the workshop.
Councilman Bomano,
No.
Councilman Stoyl,
Nothing for the workshop.
Nothing for the
Councilwoman
workshop.
Nichols. All right. Me neither. So moving on, unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll go to pre-filed resolution.
Number 84, resolution for the approval of 2021 to 2023 Consolidated Plan and 2020 Annual Action Plan for the City of Dunkirk's Community Development Block Grant Program. I believe this is going to be amended.
Okay. Any discussion, council?
No, I'll make the motion to amend when we get to it.
I second it.
By Williams, second by Nichols.
Number 85, resolution for intro number 7 to local law number 7-2020, City of Dunkirk, a local law to amend City Code Chapter 76, Section 70. And I
Okay.
believe this is going to public hearing.
Yep. Any discussion, council?
No, I'll motion to table this when it gets time for public hearing at 5:20 on the 20th.
Hang on a minute. You want to do that on the 20th or the 18th?
Oh, 18th, sorry.
I'm sorry.
My bad. I didn't add right.
I second it.
Williams and Nichols. Yeah, I just thank Richard and Jill for getting us together. It's short notice for us. We just wanted to see, just explain to everybody in the council where the monies are appropriated and where they're going to be dispersed to the organizations. So I really appreciate that. I know it's 11th hour thing, but I appreciate it very much. Thanks, guys. Okay, going on to new business. We got any new business? Seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move?
By Williams, second by Stoyl. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vanden Heuver.
Aye, carried. Meeting is adjourned. Common Council meeting to order on August 4th of 2020 at 5:30 PM. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Here.
Councilmember Nichols?
Here.
Councilmember at-large Vandenbover?
Here, please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a couple quick notes tonight. I'd like to welcome and introduce Ray Roses. He's his first meeting tonight, and welcome to the city and City Hall.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Welcome, Ray.
And Rebecca was excused for health reasons. She is doing good though. Just want to mention that. And before we start, I'd like to congratulate a good friend of mine, Eddie Pagan, for 20 plus years of retirement from the police force. Fantastic guy, a fantastic friend. He did a great job for the city and its residents. I'd like to thank them. Yep. Okay, moving on to certification of prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, July 21st, 2020 was presented to the mayor on Friday, July 31st, 2020. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and the seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, this 4th day of August, 2020.
Need a motion to dispensing the reading of the minutes?
Nichols.
By Nichols. Second by Stoyles.
Councilmember Williams?
What?
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember
Oh,
Williams?
sorry.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenboer?
Aye, carried. Privilege of the, reading of privilege of the floor and regulations.
We have no one here, sir, and we have no letters for privilege of the floor today.
Okay. Moving on to communication of the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor? Nothing tonight. Thank you. Communications from public and petitions.
Number 1, loudspeaker application request from Black in Action to use music and speakers to relay valuable community information at an event to be held for youth and families at Washington Park on August 15, 2020 from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions by Nichols.
Second.
By Williams.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenboer?
Aye, carried.
Number 2, loudspeaker application request from Jessica S. Hernandez Ramos to use amps and speakers for a baby shower at Point Gratiot Lower Pavilion on July 20th, 2020 from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m.
Need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions
So move.
by Williams. Second by Stoyl.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenboer?
Aye, carried.
Number 3, loudspeaker application request from Suzette Bautista to use speakers for a birthday party at the Hose 4 Pavilion on August 9, 2020 from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Chief, one thing like I mentioned before in the workshop, if the music does get too loud, down the point where people are trying to enjoy it, they don't have to listen to the music, the whole park doesn't have to listen to it, can they call the police department and have them do something about that?
Absolutely. If it is very, very loud, have them call the decibel, send a car, the officer will use his judgment, his or her judgment on to whether they believe it is too loud, and if so, they will ask them to turn it down.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I need a motion to refer to appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions
So move.
by Williams, second by Nichols.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenboer?
Aye, carried. Reports to standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams?
I just got one question, probably for Randy. Is there any possibility that we could open up the section of Lakefront Boulevard between Oslot and Serval?
First, I heard about that request, but I think it's a good one. And I'll take some time and drive down there this evening. And if we can do that, we will.
All right, thanks. It's just, it gets really congested down there. It was a good idea for Halloween, but it would help get rid of a lot of the traffic there if it wasn't dead end there.
Sounds like a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay. Councilman Bomano?
Yes. This question's for Glenn or Jill. There's a house that's on 600 block of Canary that's due to be demoed. Do you have any idea when that's going to happen? Last I talked to someone about that, I think it was Rebecca, I could be wrong. They said it would be sometime this year.
Yes, we have contracts with an asbestos abatement contractor and a demolition contractor, and just today received the numbers for the air monitoring for that abatement. So that should be taking place shortly.
Okay, great, thank you. Also, I'd like to comment on DPW, the second ward. I noticed the potholes are getting done in the second ward, so I appreciate that. It's noticeable. And the parks and beaches, considering what's went on in the last week, they're keeping up with it. So kudos to that. DPW, great job. I would like to make a comment on last week's Observer from Vicki Wessling. Basically went after everybody here on council. I mean, she basically went after Council Williams, basically saying he's just all about union, union, union. And I say to her, you're anti-union. And everybody that's in a union knows that. And my suggestion to you, if you want to come run your mouth, is why don't you run for office next year? There's a few positions open, and see how many votes you get. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Bomano. Councilman Stoll?
I just want to say kudos to Marty. And then I want to thank the chief publicly for, we had a continuous flow of complaints up and around the third ward. And the chief graciously accepted an invitation to come down to Washington Park and answer questions from these people. I think in the end, I think it went pretty well. And that they wanted to talk again in a month, but the chief told them we're going to have, or he's going to have, night out. And if they got any more complaints, they can bring it to the chief. I think he answered a lot of questions that Paul or I couldn't answer. And I think for the most part, they walked away happy, Chief. I know the neighbors love the idea of the patrols, and then you got to get on the light thing.
I talked to DPW about that, Councilman. We gave them the list this morning of the poll numbers.
Yeah.
And they're going to get on the issue of the lights. And as I said last night, I instituted the hourly checks of the park, and I think it's working very well.
And, well, actually, right after the meeting, we had one of our constant visitors there, one of our overnighters, and the chief took care of that. Thank you very much, Dave.
You're welcome.
And Randy, I know you're tired of this question. How about Grand Avenue? Because I know I am.
First, we're going to patch the potholes, and we're going around the whole city. Grand Avenue's on the list to do. We have one that we promised to help out with the First Ward Falcons, put a nice ramp driveway in, and we're going to work there. But so kind of the first on the list that I'm going to recommend to the mayor would be Grand Avenue. There's a drainage issue we have to fix there first. If we don't, just the word to the public, and I know the council knows this, if we don't fix the drainage issues and we just go ahead and pave, then the water sits on the pavement and it deteriorates very quickly. So we fix the drainage first, and then we do a nice job paving. So it's the first one on the list. When we catch our breath, we'll be right over there. And
Thank you.
We're going to do Monroe. There's a lot of potholes around the corner on 9th and Monroe. We're going to do that whole bend there.
One more question.
Sure.
This should be an easy fix, and I don't understand why it takes, the railing at the boardwalk.
I got somebody on that, and they because of our situation, they were working on the back of the Packer, or whatever, it would have been done already. So we
It keeps coming to me, and so if it comes to me, it's going to come to you.
He's He's a very good fabricator, you know him. And he's got it already thinking in his head. And I'd like to commend him. And he transferred from water over to parks. And he's a very talented person. We're going to put him to work on that. And not only are we going to take care of the railing with his talent, we're going to take care of the sewer issue with someone he's related to over there in the Grand Avenue area.
Well, I'll talk to you about that other, I got a good deal for you.
Okay.
No, it would save money.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. That's it.
I think he's done.
Okay, thanks. Councilwoman Nichols.
Okay. Yes, Randy, I just have one short one for you. I noticed some very large asphalt eating equipment moving into town tonight as I was coming over to the meeting. Would you like to shed some light on that?
Sure. It's a county project. Franklin is a county road. It was turned over to the county during the Mayor Fry's administration as a joint effort between Cliff Star and the city and then the county stepped in to help, so we're really thankful for that. So any work over there is not out of city tax dollars, but it's a county project. They're going to do an excellent job. So tomorrow they're scheduled to mill that, and then they'll pave shortly after that. And while I'm mentioning the county, I'd just like to extend personally and professionally my condolences to the accident at the landfill yesterday. We lost a person, an independent contractor, but also there were some county employees that were involved in trying to do the best they could, and that's a traumatic situation. I'd like to commend Councilman Williams and his association with CSEA to try to comfort those people, and anything that Public Works can do to reach out and talk to those people or whatever, you're in our prayers.
Thanks, Randy.
Everybody at the county. Thank you.
On Monday, I had a very interesting conversation with Glenn on windows. And he enlightened me on a situation that took place on May 1st. I don't know if you'd want to talk about that for a second, Glenn. Replacement windows on a house, if you're doing any construction.
The Councilwoman asked me to just give an update. The codes are updated every 4 years, and in May, a new code went into effect, and they're generally very restrictive about energy conservation. And in our zone, when you're replacing a window, it requires a U value of 0.3 or less, which constitutes to a R value of about 3. And there are very few windows that meet these energy requirements. So if you're thinking about replacing a window, you just can't go into the big box stores and buy one that's going to meet the new energy codes. And if anyone has any questions when they're doing any remodeling work, they can call us for advice and we can point them in the right direction.
Thanks, Glenn. My last comment's not going to make too many people happy, but before I was elected, I sat for about a year and a half in the audience, listening to money just going out the door, whether it was through 2 legal issues involving our employees, the purchase of the Stearns building for $170,000, which, by the way, was purchased on 6/3/2019, after the May 1st deadline to be tax exempt, so the city had to pay the taxes on that building. And now we're talking about all the renovations to that building and what the cost of that's going to be. The purchase of the land and the building for the dog park and shelter. Now, I have nothing against this, so I don't want anybody to write a nasty gram that I'm against the dog or the dog park. I'm just bringing facts to the table. It's $80,000. That is not on the tax roll any longer. And I'm trying to put together why we got picked apart for giving someone a $7,400 increase in salary when we don't have the costs of all this. As the mayor said at his State of the City address in January 31st, that through the auditors, it was shown that we have a $6.1 million in combined fund balance. Now, mind you, we have 5 to 6 less employees this year than we had last year. I don't understand what the big problem was with $7,400. Many people out in the streets, for the job that the person is doing, it is well worth the money, as opposed to what was paid for one person that did not enlighten the city on an issue that involved 2 other employees and it cost a lawsuit. But if somebody could give some figures to the council, I'm sure they'd like to hear how much, especially the Stearns building, is going to cost us. Thank you.
All right. I just have a couple of things from tonight.
Just quick answer to that. Just, Nancy, the difference is operating costs, like labor and wages and fees, are paid out of our general fund, which is our property taxes, and any state aid we get. The purchase of the Stearns and the purchase of the building for the dog park facility, that was paid through state grants, so that didn't come out of our general fund. And in terms of, it was a pre-lawsuit settlement for the case in question that you mentioned last year. So that was to avoid a lawsuit. There wasn't a lawsuit filed. That's why we did that.
That was just shut up money. But how much taxes did we lose on the Stearns building and the property on Main Street for the dog park and the shelter that the city had to pay for?
The city on the dog park and shelter, that building would have just probably sat vacant. There wasn't a lot of demand for it. We weren't competing with anybody to purchase that building, so we would have lost tax revenue regardless, or the owner would have been paying taxes on an empty building because he was going out of business or moving to a new facility. I don't remember exactly. For the Stearns building, and I can get you the memo I gave to council last year for all the new council members, the math is this. The building was paying about $4,000 total in taxes, split between city, county, and the school district, and it generated about $12,000 in rental revenue. Now, some of that rental revenue was us, so we don't get a lot of that, but the net balance is a net positive to us. And the reason why we bought the Stearns is frankly because the court facility, which is now New York State, which pays rent for use of this part of the building, basically needed to expand. The PD's office is moving into the old DPW office, and that was supposed to happen, but it's been slowed down with COVID, but they're still in process. I just saw them painting the other day. And then the DA's office will likely take over my office where the law department is. So that's why the Stearns was bought. We already basically had half of the second floor. And there is some rental income, but the main reason was we were outgrowing this building. The police need space to grow as well. They're going to be taking over most of the basement, so most of the city offices that are there have either moved or are in the process of moving over to the Stearns.
Now, what is the cost to renovate the Stearns? Because I know there needs to be some update to it, whether it be roof, furnace, bathroom. I don't know. Does anybody have any figures on that?
I know Randy, and I'll defer to Randy and Glenn on that, but most of the work that's been done thus far was done in-house, and that again is through that same grant source that we used to purchase the building. And I believe there is some additional work that remains that again was all frozen with COVID that will have to be bid out. But I don't know the figures. That's something that Glenn and Randy have been working with the mayor on.
So the in-house work is being done through a grant and not through the city funds?
Correct. It was funded through funds from the state grant, correct.
Thank you.
Richard? Paul?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wasn't the PD out of compliance? That's why they had to move? And also the court system, when they were out of compliance, that's why they had to give more space?
Right, that was part of the issue was, because we were grandfathered in, because we're considered an economically challenged city, the state gave us some wiggle room in terms of having appropriate office space for the public defender's office and the DA's, and also for the police department. But it was one of those things of, if there were ever money available, all of that should have been made compliant. So when we had access to that grant, that's why we expanded the space. Essentially, we were outgrowing the traditional City Hall footprint because of the court's use. And again, the world's changed a lot. So there's different needs for the police station. There's different needs for the courts.
with expanded the drug court and now the opioid court, so they have more space needs. And it's a situation where, it gets a little tight. If you've been into my office, it's quite the closet.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
I just have one more, and I don't know who can answer this. I don't know if you can, Rich, but it's, where are we on the LED lighting project? And I know you said, Mayor, that it was supposed to have been completed in 2020, but with the COVID-19, has it put us that far back?
I'll let the mayor answer that one.
So I just made a communication with the Secretary of State. They're the ones that are administering these funds. We're waiting for the funds. I have the project on hold until we receive those funds. Because of COVID, those funds have been held back. But I'm being told that it won't be too long before we get them. So until we get these funds, I am not authorizing for the project to continue. Otherwise, we're going to have to flip the bill for it and hope to get paid.
Good idea, let's wait.
I'm done, Paul.
You done?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Nance. Just a couple
Thank
things.
you.
Chief, again, thank you for the meeting yesterday with the Third Ward residents. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. Everything was going good until Jidge's daughter blew us in for parking on the wrong side of the road, but it was
Yeah, my
good.
daughter. I told her I had a city permit.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I told her I was calling the tow truck.
right, there you go.
You notice, Paul, when we left that meeting, he says, "And next time park legally."
Right, exactly, yeah. And Glenn, I just have a couple for you, just the one on 17 Courtney Street. I spoke to Councilwoman Nichols about it. A couple of the residents in the neighborhood are complaining about...
We've had a few complaints at 17 East Courtney this
Okay.
year. I spoke with the owner today. It's basically a tenant issue, but he's trying to rectify it, and the city's offering its assistance where we can.
Okay, that's good, thanks. I appreciate it. I know there's some legal concerns in there. I know you can't speak too much about it. And the other thing is that coming into town this morning, 963 Central Avenue, I see her out there with a megaphone yelling at outside City Hall today. Kathy and Dave Campola own the house. They come down the day before, they throw all their trash in Fredonia on 963 Central, and they leave it. And I thought we just had this conversation last common council meeting, that you can't put it up, 48, 24 hours before that. So could we get a hold of her and him and explain that rule to him?
Yes, the trash pickup is the Randy's department.
But it's not
Yeah,
their
Randy
house.
and Alan.
Address it.
What's that?
It's not their house. They shouldn't be bringing their Fredonia garbage to Dunkirk. They should be paying Fredonia's fees.
Well, they own the house. They rent it out. So if you could address that, Randy. Yeah, I talked to Alan about it also last week. We brought it up or 2 weeks ago. If you can take that and kind of explain this, some people just don't get it unless you got to find them, right?
I'll take care of it.
Cool. Randy, I need to speak to you after the meeting also, just privately, a couple things. Thanks.
Hey, Paul?
Yes.
Just while you're asking that question, does that mean that people that own a house in Dunkirk, even if they don't live in Dunkirk, can put trash out? I didn't think they could.
No.
And the neighbors have them on video. They have her and David. Kathy
And I'm not even meaning just them, just
doing it.
It's all over.
if we say now that can happen, then that can't. So it's officially, you're not allowed to? You are allowed to what?
In all the years that I've dealt with it, Randy, I can go back and help on this. Even though you own the property and let's say live in Buffalo, that does not entitle you to bring trash from Buffalo to the city of Dunkirk. It's for the resident of that dwelling.
Okay.
Not where he lives.
Yeah.
Anything like that, no.
It has to be generated and then
At the residence, yes.
Right.
years
Not
ago,
brought in from another location, no.
So the neighbors are sick of it. They got her on video, so I can hand that over to you, Dave, and you guys can take care of that.
That's in the city code,
Right.
so.
years ago, in Manzella, we'd go through the garbage along Lakefront Boulevard and the point, any big trash cans, because a lot of people from
you know, in the outlying areas, who bring in the big trash cans and dump them there. He'd go through, find an address, call him, come pick it up.
Yeah. But she's out there with a bullhorn tonight talking crap while she's breaking the law of the city of Dunkirk. So we gotta take care of this. Yeah.
On this subject, I watched him today. Guy pulls up down at Park, Memorial Park, looks around, goes to the trunk, gets his rubbish and throws it into our rubbish barrels down there at Memorial Park.
Oh, yeah.
Then he runs like hell.
Randy, if there was some, I know that the mayor and I and you were talking about maybe, you know, with some kind of grant we can get out there and talk to Rebecca, and we could put cameras, security cameras around Memorial Park, around down by the lake in Washington Park. I think it's a great idea, and I hate to say it's coming to that day of time in the society today, but we have to.
Councilman, excellent idea. We have an electrical engineer working at the wastewater plant who has the latest and greatest in video camera surveillance. The price is going way down. They're miniaturized, they record a lot. So we talked about over by Promenchenko to get a hold of that. So I think at the next DPW meeting or something like that, we bring him in, tell him what the plan is. I would like to have all the city cameras the same kind, the ability for certain people to be able to log in and record all of that and look at it. Right? You know, so it's even replacing some of the stuff that's had its day, but it's not as high resolution as you can get now, so you can read license plates and identify people and things like that. So we are in the works of trying to put together a plan like that, and that's the wave of the future. People will not be able to get away with stuff. And I'd like to commend the Parks Department for going through the barrels carefully. I mean, sometimes there's dangerous stuff in there, but if they find stuff, big stuff dumped from out of town, we crack down on that. So totally agree with you, and we got a plan with higher technology so we don't have to distract our great officers from having to, or even the Parks Department for going through trash. We're going to catch them on camera and we're going to prosecute.
Yeah, like, you know, Marty and I were talking, it's down by the point, down by the stadium also. It seems like it's a dump ground down there for tires and stuff. You know, let's start nabbing these people.
There's no excuse for it because it just for whatever, it's not that expensive to go to the transfer station.
Right.
And people out of the city, you know, pay for that. There's no reason that city taxpayers should have to augment trash disposal and stuff like that with people that do not live in the city and pay city tax.
I totally agree with you. Thank you. Thanks for your help. Thanks for everyone's help. Go ahead, Marty.
Also with that, with the cameras, not just for that use, it's multi-use. We can use it for accidents or somebody gets hurt, anything like that, what we see on camera, so it's a multi-use thing.
Alleged.
Yep. Great. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Probably I just have one more. I've talked to Glenn this week a couple times on the many residents in the city of Dunkirk that are tending to raise chickens, and they're running loose in the city. And I don't know how we can enforce or let them know that it's not permissible in the city. I know Glenn has done a couple calls for me because they were sitting on some lady's porch on Middle Road, and she was just scared beside herself because to find 7 chickens at 6 o'clock in the morning on her porch, she almost beat her husband up because she says, am I supposed to be making soup or stuffing pillows or what am I supposed to be doing with these? That's what she asked me when she called. What can I say? Can you address it at all, Glenn, so that people know if they do see this, call it in with an address?
Yes, you can call our department with a complaint or file it online or stop in and write it out of form. Farm animals are not permitted in any zone in the city, and that's includes chickens.
Thank you, Glenn.
Period.
One real quick question.
Yes. Yep.
Brandon, what do we do in a skunk situation if we see a skunk? Because they're around. Skunks.
Skunks?
Stay away.
Make soup.
Hit up you.
Call our office and we'll talk to the animal control officer and get some advice on that.
So I can call animal control?
probably won't handle it directly.
Right.
But she will advise us on what to do. So, yeah, it is a problem.
Private trapping, or make arrangements with a private trapping.
Yeah. We'll work it out with,
Yeah.
she's doing a really excellent job.
Yes.
And she's got enough to do with what she does, but she can give us advice on that. I'll work with the chief. And we'll get it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Seeing none, going to pre-filed resolution.
Number 84, resolution for the approval of 2021 to 2023 Consolidated Plan and 2020 Annual Action Plan for the City of Dunkirk's Community Development Block Grant CDBG Program.
Any discussion, council?
Yeah, were we amending this to
Yes.
the new one?
We are gonna amend this. We had a couple changes on the disbursements of the money to different businesses, so that's where we're gonna need to amend this.
And then I also believe that, so I'll make a motion to add in the resolved, add one sentence at the end of it saying, a list of subrecipients and their awards as amended is hereto attached. And then also, part of my amendment would be to attach, excuse me, the list of it to the resolution. I believe that's the only change in language, correct? Okay. Yeah, so that would be my motion.
Okay. I want to thank Richard again and Jill for getting this to us today. I appreciate it. Okay, I got a first from Williams. I need a second by
Nichols?
Nichols.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover?
Aye, carried. Now we need a motion to vote on it
I make a motion.
by Nichols, second by Williams. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover?
Aye, carried. 85.
Number 85, resolution for intro number 7 to local law number 7-2020, City of Dunkirk, a local law to amend City Code Chapter 76, Section 70.
Any discussion, council?
I'd like to make a motion to table this and schedule a public hearing for 5/20 on August 18th.
By Williams, second by Nichols. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover?
Aye, carried. New business, seeing none, need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
By Williams,
Second.
second by Stoyl.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Stoyl?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vandenhoover?
Aye, carried. Regular meeting of the common council is adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
That was a record time.
Well, it could have been.